It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of October 2nd, 1992. We got 5 movies to look at today, so let's not waste any time. Let's just jump on into it. And we'll start off with the first movie that we have here, Emilio Estevez in Disney's The Mighty Ducks.
From Walt Disney Pictures.
I hate hockey and I don't like kids. I'm the new coach.
It was supposed to be a pep talk.
Quiet.
They're the world's worst and most uncontrollable team. Anybody could beat these pansies.
You almost hit me that time. Goldberg, you're the goalie. It's supposed to hit you. That sounds stupid to anyone else.
They can't skate.
You really suck.
Thank you for sharing that.
They can't shoot.
Keep swinging. Maybe I'll give him a cold.
And they can't count.
How many fingers am I holding up?
You wouldn't know that anyway.
When it comes to hockey, they're in over their heads.
Ouch!
But when it comes to chaos,
Yes!
confusion, and all-out fun,
Get off the roof, you little monkey!
they're in a league all their own.
Oh, man, I'm gonna die.
Champions.
You think losing is funny?
Well, not at first, but once you get the hang of it.
Or Champions, as it's called in the UK. In fact, it has several different titles. Some places it's called D1 The Mighty Ducks. Some places it's called Champions. Some countries it's also called The Mighty Ducks or The Champions, to avoid confusion with the sequel, I guess. But here in America we call it The Mighty Ducks. And of course this is Emilio Estevez starring in this movie. And, you know, honestly, it is what you think it is. We've seen this type of movie done over and over again. It's the Bad News Bears. It's Major League. It's many of these sports movies, Little Giants. Just these movies about these underdog kids that eventually have to learn to become a championship team. And it is what it is. Very harmless, very innocent. Emilio Estevez does a good job acting around these kid actors, and he does create some good chemistry with them. And it does have a good overall message to it. It's very predictable, very cliched riddle, but for what it is, it's still a very fun little comedy from the 90s that still holds up a lot for nostalgic sake. And it spawned a franchise that continues to this very day with the Disney Plus series The Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which has been pretty good so far. But, yeah, that's pretty much all you gotta say about The Mighty Ducks. Fun movie, nothing too special, nothing too exciting, but it does still hold up over 30 years later, so that's The Mighty Ducks. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, and that is Tom Selleck in another sports comedy, Mr. Baseball.
Elliott's really struggling up there, Ralph.
I know I haven't exactly been raking the ball lately.
Word is, he could be traded north.
It's not Canada.
Or west.
No, say it's not Cleveland.
But the smart money says he's headed east.
We got a call from a manager in
Far east.
There's no way I'm gonna play in Japan.
Welcome to Japan, Mr. Baseball.
What do you think of our country?
The airport's nice, and there's lots of little people walking and talking very fast.
Have you slept with Madonna?
What is this? Practice.
We're not athletes. We're baseball players.
I hate this place.
This is your manager. Must shave mustache.
Probably can't even grow one.
He's learning their ways. What's next? Somebody going to tell me how to go to the can? Hey, Max, I need somebody to tell me how to go to the can.
They'll warm us up for a season or two. Well, I don't plan to be here that long.
They're learning his ways.
Jack's way, always making jokes.
Do the hokey pokey! I turned yourself around!
Baseball is a game. Games are supposed to be fun. No offense, I don't eat bait.
We have business to discuss.
Really not much of a bath guy.
I'll be damned. In any language, it's a whole new ballgame.
Well, you know, I'm just having so much fun already. Nice speech, Coach. Gave me goosebumps.
Give me a little kamikaze. Give me a little bonsai. Wake up in here. I want that. Tom Selleck.
Fantastic.
Got that right.
Mr. Baseball.
Well, you gotta give it some credit for Tom Selleck. It's certainly a lot better than the last movie he's been in. In fact, the last couple of movies he's been in have not been very good, but this one's actually not too bad. I mean, Mr. Baseball is what it is. It's another one of those movies where it is very much Bad News Bears. In fact, this is kind of like Bad News Bears when they go to Japan. Kind of the same concept here, but overall, the jokes in here are pretty funny. There isn't anything too offensively bad about it, which that trailer makes it look like there is. It is a fun-looking movie to watch. Like, there is a lot of good cinematography to this. The shots of everybody in the stands looks pretty good. The visuals overall are very impressive to look at. This has some good cinematography to it, some good music by Jerry Goldsmith. I was surprised by it. Like, it was a movie I wasn't going into it with a whole lot of expectations, especially considering that Tom Selleck's the films that he's been in is what I'm trying to say. Good Lord. The films that he's been in after Magnum P.I. have not been as successful. There's been only a couple of movies where he's been good. Stuff like Three Men and a Baby, but other stuff like Her Alibi, the previously mentioned Folks, and then Christopher Columbus' Discovery. But then you have this movie here, which is a fun little crowd pleaser. It's nothing too exciting, nothing too amazing, but it is what it is, and it does work for the most part. It does give you everything that it promises to give you. And it is a ton of fun to watch. It's one that I was pleasantly surprised by. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but I ended up really enjoying it in the end. So, that's Mr. Baseball. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie that we have here, which is Hero, with Dustin Hoffman, Gina Davis, and Andy Garcia.
What would you say if I told you I ran into a burning plane and saved a bunch of people and risked my life?
You wouldn't do it. I mean, it's a character thing, Bernie.
Bernie LaPlante was a small-time operator.
Give me $85 of machine water. I'll throw in a couple of wheel covers, a case of insect repellent. Here, you need a air filter?
Gail Gailey was a big-time reporter.
For excellence in the pursuit of truth.
Then, one dark night, as she was flying home,
now what?
fate brought them together.
Hold up, buddy! I got $100 shoes here!
Out of the darkness came a man with no name, risking his own life for ours. Whoever you are, I and the other survivors of Flight 104 say thank you.
But while America searched for its hero,
$1 million, the anonymous hero!
You think your father would do something like that? It's against his religion to stick his neck out.
They found him.
another man filled his shoes.
Hi, Jose. He's a fake.
He looked the part.
You didn't tell me he was so cute. He saved my life.
He acted the part.
I think we're all heroes if you catch us at the right moment.
Have you ever heard more dribble coming from somebody who's not even the president?
And only Bernie LaPlante knows he stole the part.
He's a menace. He's got to be stopped. He's making people wacko. And I mean wacko. Wacko. You know what I mean? Wacko. Find the human interest in the grim, unending woe that pours from the wounded heart of the heartless metropolis.
The dirt, you mean?
That too.
Columbia Pictures proudly presents
Are you Bernard LaPlante, sir?
Bernie
Mom! It's my father!
Dustin Hoffman,
You can't believe one word you see on TV. Not one word.
Gina Davis,
I'm a reporter. I'm supposed to be a professional.
Andy Garcia,
Every moment of life I owe to you.
in a Stephen Frears film.
Tell me why you did it. Why'd you go in that plane? I don't know, temporary insanity, I guess.
This is not a news story. This is real life.
She's pretending to be a person. She's really just a reporter.
A real hero is hard to find.
I was inspired by that hero.
That fake inspired you?
So this is directed by Stephen Frears, whose last movie that he did was The Grifters, which was a great film that came out 2 years ago. This one's not as good, but honestly, it's one that I really like a lot. This is a movie that I think is a lot smarter, a lot funnier, and a lot more satirical than people give it credit for, because it's a movie where you basically have this guy who does not look like a hero, and he's kind of a scummy guy, but he becomes a hero on this night. and he thinks he's probably going to get all this praise and become an actual hero. But you find out that somebody else comes in and somebody else is just taking his role, and it does create this funny idea that people aren't who they seem to be, and the people that are the real heroes kind of get overlooked. And I like the concept of what they do here. They have a great cast involved in this. Not only do you have Dustin Hoffman, Gina Davis, and Andy Garcia, but you also have people like you see in there. Tom Arnold's in here, Jeff Garland, Joan Cusack, Chevy Chase is in here, and the concept is very funny. And these actors work off of this so well. There's a lot of great comedy in here, a lot of great satirical elements to it. It's a very fun movie. It's a movie that I think is kind of ahead of its time, really, because nowadays you get a lot of these stories every once in a while, like where you think something that you see on there is actually what it is, but it really isn't, and you get a really good movie here. It's also co-written by the same man that would also write the script for Unforgiven, which was of course the year's Best Picture winner. It's an overall really good movie. Maybe one of Stephen Frears' most underrated movies. I'd say definitely check it out if you can. You may be surprised on how it actually has stood the test of time, honestly. Hero, great movie. Definitely check it out. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. Probably the best movie to come out this weekend. It was one of the best movies of the year, and that is the star-studded Glengarry Glen Ross.
Let me have your attention for a moment. Put that coffee down. Let's talk about something important. Because we're adding a little something to this month's sales contest. First prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize is you're fired. Oh, have I got your attention now? You get the picture? You laughing now? You can't play in the man's game. You can go home and tell your wife your troubles. Because only one thing counts in this life. Get them to sign on the line which is dotted. The guy don't walk on the lot lest he wants to buy. They're sitting out there waiting to give you their money. Are you gonna take it? Are you man enough to take it? You know what it takes to sell real estate?
Glengarry Glen Ross, honestly, is David Mamet at his absolute best. This is the best that he gives you. He wrote and directed this movie. This features a phenomenal cast: Alec Baldwin, Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, Alan Arkin, Kevin Spacey, Jonathan Pryce. Some great slick cinematography and style from Juan Ruiz Alachia. Great writing from Mamet. Just the movie is not afraid to go over the top and be so laced with profanity all around. It's amazing how many F-bombs they throw at you in your face, and it's just hilarious to watch. They make videos on YouTube just about all the times that somebody says the F word or just screams it out at them. It's hilarious to watch. If you have a chance, go onto YouTube and watch these videos because they're really funny. But they play a part into the story. I mean, Glengarry Glen Ross is without a doubt a must-watch movie, not just for the great acting, not just for the great writing and dialogue, but just for the great atmosphere, the tension this movie gives you. This is everything you expect a great movie to be, and is must-see movie making. If you want to see really great entertainment, this is definitely it right here. Glengarry Glen Ross, you can't go wrong with it. It's a classic. Need I say more about it? Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie that we have here, and that is John Malkovich and Gary Sinise in the adaptation of John Steinbeck's classic novel of Mice and Men.
Tell me like you done before about them other guys and about us.
Guys like us, they don't got nobody in the world gives a hoot and hell about it.
But not us, Stuart. Tell about us. Because
I got you.
And I got you.
I spend all my time telling you things and you forget them.
I remember about the rabbits. If I get in any trouble, I don't get to tend them rabbits.
You're nuts.
Don't you even look at her. Keep away from her. I ain't saying he's bright. He ain't. But he's a damn good worker.
He's not much of a talker, is he?
As
Suppose you don't want to tell.
What the hell are you getting into this for?
We travel together.
Of course, if you've read of Mice and Men in high school, you probably saw this movie afterward. I know that's how I saw this for the first time. When in high school we were reading the book, and then they showed us this movie. And for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward adaptation of the book. I mean, Gary Sinise directed this movie. He also stars in it as George, and John Malkovich as Lenny. These two work off each other so well. John Malkovich gives a great performance in here. So does Gary Sinise. The cast overall is very good. You've got Casey Simbasco, Ray Walston, Joe Morton, Sherilyn Fenn in this. And like I've said before, it does a really good job of capturing all the elements of the book in this movie. It does a phenomenal job. It's a very stylistic movie. And I'm actually surprised Gary Sinise hasn't done a whole lot of other directorial efforts in this. I don't think he's done a ton of directorial efforts here. I need to double check and see. Okay, he did one other movie about 3 years prior to this, Miles from Home. But after that, this was the only other movie he directed. He did not direct any other movies after this. And it's a shame, too, because he really does show that he's got the potential to be a pretty good director. And I'm kind of wondering why he never took on another role. I don't know if this was just too much for him to work on, or this didn't turn out as well as he thought it would, but I don't know. I thought this movie overall did pretty well of capturing the book very well. It was casted right. The visual look of the film was very good. You got the right emotions in this. It is a very good movie all around. It's a really great film. If you haven't seen it and you've read the book, I'd say definitely check it out. You probably get one of the best straightforward adaptations of the story possible. It's a pretty good movie overall. I can't recommend this one enough. If you haven't seen Mice and Men, please go check it out. You will not be disappointed by it. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll look at the movies of October 9th. 3 movies to look at in particular, including Steven Seagal's Under Siege, probably the best movie he's ever starred in. We'll delve more into that next time. We also have the other big adaptation of Christopher Columbus's 1492 Conquest of Paradise from director Ridley Scott, and also A River Runs Through It. So 3 movies to look at next time around, and we will do just that on the next episode. With that said, though, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching, I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.